What's up YouTube? Dale here from Zephyr and welcome to episode 13 of the local experience. Yeah, there's a bit of a mess in front of you and that's because, again, like always, I don't know exactly what I want to play. I'm semi-tempted to play Cool Tunes, but considering that Blazing Dominion's out in like 2 weeks time, I might be better off waiting until that. I've also picked up some shiny upgrades. So I've been buying a lot of, well, Herald of the Orange Light is not Rarity Collection 5, but I just really like the card right now and I decided to upgrade it. Smart decision or not, I don't know. I've also got upgrades for Exosisters in form of Michaelis. I've got Count Surveyor for DDDs. And then I picked up the Ash Blossom from Rarity Collection 5. I just actually really like the stamped artworks. I just think they look really like clean. I've picked up 2 Ether Barrels. I haven't got my third yet. Ghost Mourners, Forbidden Chalices, Ghost Ogres, Ghost Bells, and then just like a host of other cards that I like play and use, like Super Quants. Super Quants could actually be really fun. Generators, I like Generators at the moment. I'm waiting on my third Fenrir and third Unicorn. There's my Ash Blossoms, Crosslight Designator, Cross Sheep, Bond Between Teacher and Students, and then just some of the other cards I was able to pull and pick up. So, what am I tempted to play? Well, I like the idea of playing Dark Magician. Like, I haven't played Dark Magician since I took it to the OTS Championship, and I'm quite tempted to play that. I'm also quite tempted to play Exosisters, just because, again, I've played them in Genesis, but I haven't actually played them in Modern yet. So that is another contemplation for myself. Just having a look at exactly, trying to get them on live here. So I've got the Exosisters here. So while I've got them here, I'm going to upgrade my Michaelises. There we go. Obviously, the decks are not max rarity because I am not in the zone to be getting Starlight Rare Marthas. I kind of missed the boat on that one. So, which I don't mind. I'm not, I'm not desperate to do it. So yeah, I'm tempted with Exosisters. Just because I don't think many people are that prepared for the deck. Not that the deck is immune to a lot of things. It's obviously weaker in Modern than it is in Genesis, because in Genesis it can play 3-dimension shifter, and that just gives it a massive edge over a lot of decks. But then it can also play Dimensional Fissure. With locals, I use locals as like a very casual testing environment. There will be the odd meta decks, but then there are like the balance of casual decks as well. So I don't really feel the need, unless I'm testing for something specifically, to go like heavy at locals. So being able to play like Exosisters kind of lets me learn what they can do against the main meta in the environment, but then also gives a rogue matchup that not a lot of people understand what to do. I would like to play DDDs. My biggest issue with playing DDDs right now is that I feel that when you're taking a deck like DDDs to a local environment where people don't know exactly what the deck does, you could eat up a lot of your own time, like explaining what each card does and trying to combo. And when people don't know when to interact at certain points as well, that can kind of make it a little bit more difficult. I mean, at some point you're going to have to do it, because then people will go, oh, okay, that's what they do, and they start to learn. And the more consistent you play them, the better it kind of works out. So I think ultimately for this experience, it's either going to be, I think I'm going to bench Cool Tunes. Like, I've played Cool Tunes before and they are literally just hand trap dot deck. They're really good at synchro summoning, but like as right now, they're only going to get stronger in the next one. So I don't know. And then, like, as much as I loved Dark Lords, I don't want to play Dark Lords again. I've kind of already done Dark Lords a couple of times, and I like to take a break every now and then and just try something a little bit different, like unless I'm playing a different version. So yeah, and then the other option is Dark Magician, which I would need to build and put together and kind of get it in a state where I was happy with it. So yeah, I mean, Exosisters are looking quite tempting, purely because they're near enough ready. Let me just have a look. I've got, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So that's 29 of like engine pieces, and then that gives me 11 non-engine pieces to play around with as well. And those non-engine pieces can be like hand interactions. So it'd be like Ash, Fua. I'd probably push to 12. So it'd be 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 3 Imperm, and then maybe 3 Ghost Bell, possibly. So that could open up a bit of space. And then I'd have to build a side deck for sure. So Exosisters are tempting. They do have fragilities though. Like if your opponent stops the pieces hitting the field, or if they destroy your pieces when they hit the field, then you're in a bit of trouble. I do just like Carmel. I love what Carmel can do. I think Carmel's such a good card. I just haven't had a chance to properly play it in Modern yet to be like, oh, okay, cool, that's where it sits. So I guess I can give it a go, maybe. I've just got to be careful of like field breakers, because field breakers can be very difficult. The other thing as well with Modern is with Genesis, everyone's on Kaijus. Like everyone's on Kaiju. So you Kaiju an Exosister, and that's it, like half their spells and traps are just completely dead. So, I might even need to use Droplet actually, now that I think about it, and then Droll. So maybe I'll have to build the Exosisters and figure that one out. Dark Magician, I'm trying to find where it is. I would like to play Blue Eyes as well. I think that my Dark Magician cards are there. I would like to play Blue Eyes, but I haven't had a chance to do that properly. Invoke Magistus is also quite tempting, and Battling Boxes. Like Battling Boxes, I highly expect I'll get my butt kicked. Like just having a think of what would be at locals. At the moment, I think locals there's going to be Yubel, there's going to be Yomi Fiendsmith, there's going to be Elf Note Fiendsmith, so like a lot of Fiendsmiths. So, trying to think what else there'll be. Elf Note Fiendsmith. I think there might be Radiant Typhoon will be there. I just don't think anyone's going to expect Exosisters. And the fact they can play Dimension Fissure, I think could be a big turning point, because if everyone is going to be on a Fiendsmith package or hybrid, being able to activate Dimension Fissure can cause a lot of issues for them. But obviously then Dimension Fissure means you have to go first to do it, or like to get the most out of it. So that's something to think of as well. So I'll have a think about it. I'll see if I can put this deck together. See if, like, give it a test out. I suppose testing it in Modern, you'll be able to find out. There's a lot of build, or I've seen a couple of builds that have like top to regional. So it kind of shows the deck can do things. It just kind of comes down to it. It's like, were they lucky enough to like win the dice roll? Not every single time, but like on a predominant amount of time, and then just cause their opponent issues, or kind of where it fell. So I'll give it a look over. You'll find out in part 2 when I give you like live duel interactions what I ended up going with. And then in part 3, I'll give you a deck profile breakdown and just an overall tournament report on the deck as well. So I'll catch you all in a bit. Okay, so starting off with the highlights from duel number 1. This is against Radiant Typhoon. You can see that they open up double Perulia. So this is game 3. Game 1, they weren't able to kind of really push through. Game 2, I wasn't able to push through. And then game 3, I go first. They open up double Perulia. Which guarantees them 2 draws, because obviously Martha summons from the hand. And then I kind of don't need to use my normal summon. Like, I've got I think I've got Pot of Prosperity in this one. And I activate that, take a Ghost Bell, and then set 2. Anyway, they go Mystical Space Typhoon, they hit my packs. They go normal summon Sven. I use Carmel to negate Sven's effect or change Sven's effect. And they respond by using Droplet to send a Perulia. So, obviously you can only activate 2 Maul Chummies a turn. And obviously that didn't work for them. So they search out Vision, activate the Vision, or they're about to activate the Vision. This gets hit with Dominus Purge, and then you can kind of see that they concede because they've got a Fua loss, which is draw for turn, and then a second Forbidden Droplet that just was of no use to them. Moving on to duel number 2, so this is against Enneacraft. So this just kind of shows like how powerful Enneacrafts can be. So this is a little bit later on down the time, but basically all my monsters are flip face down with Mar. They then get attacked and then flip face up, and because he's got 2 scales, each scale is gaining a counter, and each counter is worth 900. So at this point, that's 8 counters at 900 a counter. That's all going to get removed in the end phase using the field spell, which is like 7,100. So that's enough for game. Moving into duel number 3. So this is, or round number 3, sorry. This is against Sky Strikers. So you can see that I've got 2 Dimension Fissures up on the field. Not the best, but not the worst against this matchup. But still, like it's kind of good. It stops the Ray Float. It stops the monster resource for the the monster resource for linkage, not linkage, sorry, Lemniscate. And then there's also like a little bit more that it can kind of be a bit awkward for. Anyway, so I end up winning that one. We go into duel number 3. My opponent won the first duel as well. I couldn't really break the field they were trying to set up. And it looks like we've got Raigeki here. So Ash Blossom a piece, I guess, which is kind of fair. Using Carmel to change Raigeki to move a card in my graveyard to add it back to my hand. Just explain that to my opponent. And then we're also going to go with Chain Vardis. The reason we do this is that as this resolved, the Vardis will put the 2 Exosisters onto the field. And then once they're on the field, they will then see my opponent move the card in the graveyard back to me. So that will trigger both the Exosister effects. And in doing so, those Exosister effects will then be able to kind of like rank up into, you know, different Exosisters. And so he's giving me back the Stellar. And then I'm just chaining 1, chaining 2 to rank both of these up to hopefully go into different XZs. Obviously, the first one you'll go for will be the Michaelis, because the Michaelis gives you that quick effect to banish that turn. Yes, you've got Caspatel and then you've got the Asophiel. So the Asophiel is if his XZ summons using Exosister monsters as material, neither player can activate card effects in the grave this turn, which is quite important. And then the Caspatel is neither player can special summon from the graveyard. So one would stop Ray special summoning back, and then the other would stop Ray activating in the graveyard. So they both kind of do the exact same job. And then we activate Harpy's Feather Duster. I let that one go through. I don't think it would have mattered which way they go around, because I don't think I would have stopped Harpy's Feather Duster for 1. If I had more set, then that'd be a bit of a different story. So normal summon down the Rose, obviously not what you want to be going for in this one. Just use the Michaelis to banish, and ultimately that's going to be enough. So we're activating the Vision's just going to get hit with the Ash, and it's just, yeah, at that point it's just resource management, pass, and you've got the Sophiel, we've got the Michaelis, and then we've got the Carmel going directly. Then this is the final round against Archmages, so I decided to Ghost Ogre the Power Patron because it needs to use itself. So obviously if it's no longer on the field, it can't use itself to fuse. They end up still getting the Midas to Pure. They've got 1 set and I still get the Martha. Still kind of strong in this point though, because I believe the 1 set is Super Polymerization. But I think that they hold the Super Polymerization back a little bit longer. Like, I think this is duel number 2. Duel number 1, I ran into Super Poly, but I had enough resource to kind of push for it. And then in this one, that was an opportunity to Super Poly at that point there. I'll go into the Michaelis, and obviously what a lot of people don't know about the Exosisters is a lot of their extra monsters are different types. You've got like Warriors and Fairies. So I've got to this point here where I've been able to make the Carmel, the Michaelis, and I've got the Irene on the field, which is probably me being a bit greedy. Like, I thought if there was Super Poly, he would have used them with the 2 materials that I used to make the Carmel. But I go to battle phase, he then activates Super Polymerization, and I'm just saying, like, luckily for me, the Carmel is a dark, so you can't actually use dark Carmel for anything. But you can use the Irene and you can use the Michaelis to go into a Mud Dragon. Obviously, I can't respond with the Carmel, so nothing's going to happen there. But what will ultimately end up happening there is just confirming that there's the Mud Dragon as the option. Mud Dragon enters the field of play. That'll get destroyed by the Carmel. And then I could use the Carmel to banish the Mud Dragon. Ultimately, I didn't think it was... not the Carmel, but the Betrayal. But honestly, I didn't think it was really kind of worth it. Yeah. Just trying to remember what we're resolving here. Yeah, because this is my turn. So we're going to the end phase. We're going to resolve the Carmel, which is going to get me Returnia. And then at this moment in time, because they've discarded for the Super Polymerization, they are top decking. So they top deck a spell, obviously unbeknownst to me. But I think this just gives me too much of a foothold, because if they've got the spell card to discard for the field spell itself, it gets hit with Returnia. If they go normal summon Medius, that's probably like the best thing they could do. But again, they go normal summon Medius. I use the effect of Carmel to change Medius to add a card from my grave back to my hand. And then I use Returnia to banish that Medius. And then there's just like no resource left for them. So they end up passing. They obviously want to try and gain a bit more resource, which is actually quite a good play here. It gives me more to worry about, especially when I don't have game on the field. So they obviously run a bet that I don't top deck or get access to any particular card, which unfortunately I don't get to a card that it lets me extend to 2 level 4s, but I do get the Elise to the field. And then Elise is going to attack him for 500. Carmel goes in for 2,500, or is it 2,600? I think it is actually. I know Michaelis is 2-5, and then Carmel is 2-6, if I remember rightly. They draw another card for turn. Don't know if it's a spell or a trap. Obviously, the idea is that if you do get a spell or trap, you have that ability to discard it for the field spell. But they still need to worry about that Returnier. Like, they haven't really set anything or put anything in play that threatens that Returnier. So we discard the Infinite Impermanence for the field spell, the Academy Arts. And I'm just confirming that the other spell card, Assault, doesn't protect from everything. I'm just like, no, okay, cool. Returnier, target to banish it. Ultimately end up banishing the field spell. And then it comes down to what they have left. Like, again, if it's a Medius de Pure, it just gets answered with the Carmel. So there's not really a single card that they could have that would allow them to do that. If the Infinite Impermanence was like a Forbidden Droplet, that would have been pretty cracked. So, yeah, just passing and conceding from that point on, there wasn't really a lot more that they could do. So that was it for all the duels on that one. If you want to see any of the duels in full, then let me know in the comments down below and I'll bring the full video for you. But with that out of the way, let's go back to the studio and take you through my final thoughts for the third place Exosisters. Okay, so back from locals, we did decide to go with Exosisters. So I'm just going to take you through the profile. We got third place with a 3-1 record, which wasn't actually so bad. My only loss came to Enneacraft, and that was literally just like an insane grind game. The deck's really scary. Like, I've played the deck, but this is all before Blazing Dominion and new cards. And the Blazing Dominion new cards, I think, are also going to be incredible for the deck. So it's definitely something to be aware of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly what I've done previously. Is I'm going to lay out the deck, talk about what cards went well, what cards are core components, and then we'll work our way to the extra deck, side deck, and open up the OTS packs. So at locals today, first place was Yugioh Fiendsmith. Second place was Blue Eyes Primite. Third place was myself on Exosisters. And then fourth was Enneacraft. The other decks that were in attendance was Yummy Fiendsmith. There was Sky Striker, Radiant Typhoon, another Yubel, a Archmage, Shining Sarcophagus, and there was a Ryziel deck. And I'm trying to think if there was anything more. There was 12 duelists in total. So a much bigger turnout than normal. It's actually at capacity as well, which is really cool. Anyway, starting off with the Exosisters, you max out on Martha's, Elise's, double Stellar, 1 Sophia, 1 Irene. Like, pretty standard in an Exosister lineup. The only thing that some people change is sometimes they'll play 1 Stellar instead of 2. I quite like the idea of 2. Martha is incredible. I just wish that Martha summoned any name from the deck, not Elise, because Elise is like your best extender. Like, this is a card you don't mind having in the hand. Like, I really wish Martha was any of them. I get it, it's part of the lore, I get how it works and everything else in between, but yeah, it would have been really, really nice. As an honorary Exosister monster, we play the 1 Hime. Sorry, not 1 Hime, but we pay Hime at 3. This one is, as long as you control a monster with 800 attack or defense, you get to reveal it as an effect and normal summon it as an additional normal summon, and then you add a level 4 light or dark with 800 attack defense, which is basically any of your Exosisters, and then mainly Martha. And then from the side deck, you can actually search out your Thunderkin Ryo, and if you haven't used your normal, like your actual normal summon, you can just normal summon down Thunderkin Ryo. Then for consistency pieces as well, again, maxing out on packs, so quick effect during the main phase, pay 800, grab yourself an Exosister card, and then you got Betrayal. Betrayal, the brand new continuous one, on activation, add 2 Exosisters, and then discard any card. And then it has an errated effect, so if a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, even during the damage step, it says you can, but and then it says one of them, their choice, but it actually is your opponent just banish one of them, which means they trigger off all your Exosisters. Then I'm on the 1 Vardis and the 1 Returnier. I don't mind main decking these. I like this as the aggressor. I like this as the extender. So usually I'll end my field with a Michaelis plus a... Well, if you've gone uninterrupted, you get the Carmel and you get the Michaelis. If you get interrupted, you probably only end up with one of them, and that's probably where you'll lean into Vardis more than not. But Vardis being able to get you 2 Exosisters to the from the deck to the field, and if you've got something like Betrayal or the Carmel, which makes your opponent move cards in the graveyard, you can basically just rank both of those Exosister monsters into Xyz monsters. For the non-engine cards, free full loss, I personally wish that this was Perulia, to be honest with you. 3 Ash Blossoms, it's just ashes are ashes. 2 Ghost Spells, and then 3 Infinite Impermanences, and 3 Dominus Purges. I'm torn by Dominus Purge just because it shuts down, it shuts out any later game ashes that you might have. It also shuts down your Carmel, but I do fully understand just how powerful the Dominus Purge is, so I'm not like, cut it completely, but if I was to cut it, you would have to find 3 slots that are worth bumping up for your hand trap lineup, and if anything, it'd probably be, I don't know if I'd go for a breaker or not, I don't know. Speaking of breakers, I'm on 2 Forbidden Crown, 2 Forlorn and Virtuous, and then a consistency piece of Pot of Prosperity. I actually saw this a lot. I actually quite don't mind Pot of Prosperity in him. It's like one of the ones that if you see it, you go off with it. Fallen and Virtuous, I think I saw it once, and it got called by the grave. Like, the monster I sent got called by the grave, so I was like, cool, 1 pop and not. Forbidden Crown, the whole idea on this one was to protect your monster as you were trying to build up. But I never saw it in conjunction with a way where my opponent was trying to destroy my cards, where I could use it to protect. If anything, I used it in the Enneacraft matchup to disrupt and negate, but it didn't really do the work that I wanted it to do. Onto the extra deck, so you've got your 2 Fallen and Virtuous targets, just kind of standard on that one. Then I've got generic Exoton Knight, Baguska, and I think that's the only one for the generic rank 4s, yeah. And then I went with 2 Michaelises. This was just more for space than anything else. But the idea is that I'd play 2 Michaelises, 2 Carmels, 2 Magnificas. Again, pretty standard on this one. Like, Michaelis, some people do play it free, which I completely understand. And I was going to play it free. But then I also wanted, I wanted to play some other cards as well instead. So I wanted to play the Asafel, the Jabrain, and the Caspatel, and then instead of the 3rd Michaelis, I was playing the 2 Fallen and the Virtuous targets, but honestly, I can remove Fallen and the Virtuous. That'd be 2 Ghost Ogres in the main deck, and then, or 2 Forbidden Droplet, to be honest, and kind of just let it ride from that point on. So I'm not too fussed on that one. And then the final 2 cards is a Typhon and a Zeus. Zeus put in a lot of work, actually. If I'm being honest, I would like to have another Zeus, I think. Like, 2 Zeuses would be really cool. So that's it for the extra deck, pretty standard. And then for the side deck, so for the side deck, Thunderkin Row. This was actually on a profile that I watched, which they got, I think they got first place at a regional, and they were siding in the Thunderkin Row. And what makes it so good is that neither player can add cards from the deck to the hand, except by drawing them, and then you get to send it from the face-up field to the grave, and you get to summon one of your opponent's monsters. So it's one of the ones where it's like, against Radiance, you normal summon down the Thunderkin Row, and they're like, okay, I can't add. So they can't do like draw phase, anything. But yeah, never saw it. 2 Dimension Fissures. I saw both of them against my Sky Striker opponent. It made it very awkward for them, but it also made it a little awkward for me. So I don't know if I'd actually continue to main these. I've done this in like such a backwards order as well, by the way, so I apologise. 2 Drolls, because that's what you're allowed. 2 Perulias. And then because I couldn't decide to put them in the main deck over the Fallen of Virtues, I went with 2 Ghost Ogres. This actually put in quite a bit of work. Like, it would have put in a bit of work against the Enneacraft matchup, because when they used the field spell to burn me, they burnt me quite a bit, actually, both times. I would have loved to have seen a Ghost Ogre on that one. But and then just in other ones, I think it's just a good meta call right now. I'm not saying it's perfect, but there are just times where people just don't expect Ghost Ogre. And you hit them with a Ghost Ogre, and they're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And this is what I've said since day one with cards like Ghost Ogre, is in the modern day of Yu-Gi-Oh!, players are so used for their card to get negated that they've already got their backup plan in mind. They're like, right, if I get Imperm, Veiled, or Ash, I still have the body, I go into a Link play or do whatever. Whereas Ghost Ogre lets them have the card they're trying to search. But more times than not, the card they actually had on the field, they wanted to keep on the field. And then they have to kind of readjust a little bit more than they would probably be used to. But that's just kind of how it works. And then I went with 3 evenly matched. Again, I just think it's a card that's really useful for breaking fields right now. Especially if you can combo it off with something else. It was this or Raw Sphere mode, and I decided to go for evenly matched just for the pure fact that, at least with evenly matched, I could kind of trade off with spells and traps as well, which would be kind of important. So yeah, and then the final card I went with was 3 Iron Thunder. I just really like Iron Thunder right now. It's just a card that I quite like putting in for my side decks for a go first, because then I've got a direct swap out. Like, yeah, of course I can use Dimension Fissure, but then if I'm going first against a deck that doesn't care about Dimension Fissure, I'll put in like Thunder King Ryan, maybe 2 Iron Thunders, or I put in 3 Iron Thunders and take out a card that's not used to my opponent. And at least this just protects me from field clears or cards that would try and take out my Carmel or the Michaelis. Obviously not in all ways, like if your opponent is on Lava Golem, that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. So that's pretty much it for the entire profile. You would have seen some duels as well. I'm not too sure at the exact time of recording this. So the way that I record this is I record my duels, then I kind of make notes of what points were good, what moments were good in the duels, and then I'll probably do like highlight bits. But then if there are any duels, so my matchups were, and I haven't even told you this yet, my matchups were, started off with Radiance. This should be the ulti if we've got it, and so should that, so we'll put them at the bottom. It was Radiant Typhoon round 1, Eniacraft round 2, round 3 was Sky Strikers, round 4 was Art Mages. So anyway, for our OTS packs, we've got Raya, Rescue Ace Fire Attacker, Lightning Vortex, Vic Viper, Ice Dragon Prison, Kuribo Token, and an Archmage Power Patron. I hope this is my playset now. I think this could actually be my playset, and the Kuribo Token is just what the Kuribo Token is. I think I actually still need super rares from OTS 29 as well, which is quite, I get good or bad, I guess. Yeah, so that's it for this local experience. I've got one more local experience before we have Blazing Dominion sneak event. I'm not too sure what I'd want to run yet. I wanted to play Cool Tunes pre-new support again, just to give it another run out, but I'm not too sure on that one. I want to play DDDs, but with DDDs, like, I think that there's, like I said at the first part, I think that it kind of takes a couple of weeks. You need to go week 1 where your players get used to like what the deck wants to do. And then you go again and you're like, right, okay, cool. You now understand what the deck does. You know where my choke points are, or you know when you want to interact. And then that lets you play a little bit more freely and kind of work it back from there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying these local experiences. Let me know in the comments down below what you would actually like me to see or you would like me to do on the next locals experience. So actually, if you've got a deck suggestion, just let me know. I'd actually be quite happy to do that. I think that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, as I've made a bit of a mess of the Exosisters in front of you, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.